Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I am so excited because I have one of our incredible, brilliant GiRLiFE coaches here with me, Annette George. Annette resides in Connecticut with her husband, her 6-year-old daughter, and their dog, Coda. I love that name. Annette became certified to run GiRLiFE empowerment workshops in March of 2020. The pandemic delayed the start of her workshops, but she now feels that the timing is right. Within the past few months, Annette has facilitated 3 workshops. It fills her heart and soul to be able to share these workshops with all these beautiful girls and to have her daughter by her side throughout this heart work journey. Annette, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Melody. Thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. And before we hit record, you were sharing, what were you sharing with me about how you're feeling about talking here on the podcast?
This is definitely my first rodeo, so I'm a little bit nervous to be on here, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's like I shared with you, please share that because it's so important for us all. Like we're all reflections of each other. And if you're feeling nervous doing this, it's so understandable and so natural. I'm trying to think back to the first time I was a guest on a podcast and I don't even know what I did with myself. Like I've shared that I have anxiety. Like I experience that on a day-to-day basis, and new stuff is hard and we need to be okay with it. And sometimes stepping into our fear is where our greatest growth is. And I remember when I invited you on the podcast, you had such a beautiful answer. I loved it so much. You're like, I knew this, you said something like, I knew this was coming and it makes me nervous, but I'm saying yes.
Yes.
And I love that. I love that you felt the fear and you did it anyway. And I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. So Annette, tell us about, so you in 2020 decided that you're going to become a GiRLiFE coach, which is super exciting and super brave, right? In the midst of a pandemic. And it's so interesting because that was one of our most powerful years at GiRLiFE, because I think so many people felt like, okay, life is short. Life is short.
Sure.
Let's do what we love. Talk to us about what your thought process was and why then, and why girls empowerment workshops.
So for me, it was, well, first I just want to say, and I think anybody can attest to this, that has had or birthed a child. When I had Willa, that's my daughter, she's 6 years old. People tell you your life is going to change, but quite honestly, you don't even realize how much you're going to change, especially with just everything that it brings up for you, for just yourself as a person. So when I looked at Will, I was like, holy moly, this is a huge, huge responsibility. The amount of responsibility I felt for this child was just beyond words, especially having a girl too. In my mind, I was just like, this, I can't, this is a huge responsibility. So I was sitting, I think Willa was about 3 years old, and I was kind of in a transitional time of a career as well. I was an entrepreneur since I was 21 years old. I had a dog grooming shop forever. And then I had Willa. So my life kind of totally shifted there from working with animals full-time to now taking care of this little human baby, which I am beyond grateful for this opportunity to be a mom. But you came across, not somehow, definitely by purpose, you came across, and I was listening to you and you were talking about this GiRLiFE empowerment. And I think what most of the new coaches think, I wish I had this when I was young. I wish I had this. So I took that and I thought to myself, well, gosh, I can use this for my daughter, but how important to also be able to give this message to all these other girls. So I reached out to you. It was a bit of an investment, like everyone says as well too. And I hemmed and hawed about that. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And it was probably only a month before the pandemic. So I had not known that this adversity was going to come across. Yeah. So I sign up for this. I'm nervous about it financially. I'm nervous about how I'm going to get it going. So I sign up for it. I get the curriculum. I go over the curriculum. I get a name in my mind of what I want my business to be. And then I started moving forward, and then wham, the pandemic hit. And I thought, all right, well, I could pivot and go with the Zoom and the lives, but to me, it didn't. I know it feels good for some people. To me, it didn't. I like the live interaction. I like to feel the energy of the people. I don't know, for me, it just didn't feel comfortable doing it. So I waited on that. And in the meantime, with that, I just got everything I could in a row with like how I wanted the workshops to look. And then I kept getting postponed. And I was like, all right. And then finally, a woman reached out to me. I had run a gratitude workshop. Actually, it was the Art of Giving workshop, and I ran it for free. And it was during, I think it was in December or January. It was before they really said, no, you could not meet anymore. So we ended up meeting. I did it for free. It was amazing. I had like 5 girls with me. And then that was what I thought was going to be the first, but ended up being the last for a couple years. And what really got it going for me is a woman that had her girls enrolled in that workshop reached out to me 2 years later and was like, hey, I'm looking for anything. My girls loved that workshop that they did with you. If you're doing anything again, please reach out to me. So I took that as the sign, girl, get it going. Like, you have to get this going now. So I ended up starting a small group, and I got them at my house, and we had 7 girls, and we did self-love, self-confidence, and it was incredible. So from that, I just actually finished up doing the Art of Giving workshop again. And we have Rock Your Kindness coming up, which I'm super excited for at the end of the month. But in this, I would also like to add, so people can get a little bit of motivation and not feel, I guess, not feel, but to get deterred by anything that you get turned down by. I had also reached out to my community center to run these workshops as well. And I didn't get much response back. So those actually didn't get rolling, but I took that as a sign. I can learn from this. I've been keeping a journal, and I can learn from this. I was going to run them on Saturdays, and I think Saturdays may have been a bad day for people because there's sports that kids are involved in. And also it was the month of May, and May is incredibly busy for everyone. So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we learn from the yeses, right? We learn, okay, let's move more in that direction. And then we also learn from the not nows, right? We learn from them that, okay, I'm going to pivot, or okay, different time of day, okay, different age group. Like, I know for me, I'm doing this membership model now, like Empower Hour. I don't know if you've heard about it, but like,
love it. Yes.
and that's all virtual, but there have been so many pivots. First, I was like girls ages 6 to 12. And then organically the younger girls came in. Then I changed it to 6 to 10. I'm looking at changing it to 6 to 9 now, because it's so interesting. The more like business wise, and you're an entrepreneur, you know this, the more focused you get, the more your audience can find you. But the wider we cast our net, the more general we are. So like even in coaching, when they say niche down, it's like niche down so your people can find you. But so I'm just like sharing that to share that I'm pivoting too. I'm in month 3 of this Empower Hour, and I just keep shifting things around because that's what we do. And it's like, how do we best serve these girls? How do we best show up for them? So your not now is like, okay, now let me go and get creative and figure out what's the next evolution of this.
Absolutely. So I think when you get no's, it's a good lesson for everyone. And it's a lesson I'm learning. It's not just, oh, okay, so these workshops just aren't going to work out. No, I don't take that as an answer at all. I think it's just, I need to tweak a few things, maybe change dates, wait for the school year to start back up again. It's just all about learning from as you're going. Now, I don't want to say mistakes, because I don't think it was a mistake to have put the workshops out there at the community center. I think it was just so I can learn and grow even more with this.
I love that. And I think that's the mentality. When we take that on, like everything's a win, everything. And like, what business model do we know where the second we get up and going, it's like full speed ahead. And like, we are always iterating, always iterating. So I appreciate you sharing that part of your journey, because it's an important one so that people don't feel discouraged, whether they're girl life coaches or doing something else in the world and thinking to themselves, where I feel like I'm getting all these stop signs. And it's like, yeah, you might be getting a stop sign, but it's like, okay, can you make a right hand turn? Is there a way to make a left hand turn? Can you do a U-E? Like, what are your options here? So let's talk a little bit about the girls, and let's talk about like what you're teaching them, and like how are they responding? You said the self-love and self-confidence workshop was awesome. Like what were they, what was their response to the messages that you were sharing?
So it wasn't so much, and this is what I'm finding with both the workshops. So when you have girls with you and they're all excited and you're excited and the energy is high, you're almost wondering, are they getting these messages? Like, are they really getting it? And every time the workshop is over, they go home and we're all excited and everybody's excited. And I reiterate to them, like, make sure you share it with your friends and family. Next day, I get a message from one of the moms, and they're like, Annette, this is amazing. My girl can't stop telling everyone about it. And I just think, wow, I thought they weren't taking this all in, but they sure are. And it's happened every single workshop we've done, every single workshop we've done. And we did, that was another one, the intuition and finding your inner voice. And we
Yeah.
did the affirmations.
Yes.
And I thought, well, this might be because I had they were 5 to 7 year olds. And I thought, well, this might be like a little bit above. Nope, Mel, it was incredible. They went home. They were having one girl in particular, she was having her mom and dad pick the cards like out with her, and she was saying them out loud. And it makes my heart swell to the point I can't even put it into words how beautiful it is, really.
It is so beautiful. And it is, yeah,
Yeah.
we so want, I'm the same as you, like at the workshop or like for me in Power Hour right now. I'm like, are they getting this? Like,
Yes.
is this coming through? And just like you said, the feedback that you get afterwards, or like I get private messages from the girls that not all the other girls on the
No.
chat can see. They're saying, I love you. And they're
Yes.
saying, I love our girl meetings. Like it means something to them that you show up for them in this way. Like, and
Mm,
it's like, we all have, like, think of ourselves growing up. We always had other women in our lives, right? Um,
yeah.
but when someone takes the time to spend that hour or 2 hours with you, focusing on you and your thoughts and your feelings and like what you want in this world, like there's no greater resonance, like there's nothing more potent and powerful than the magic that gets created there. And these girls are feeling seen and heard and
Yeah.
important, right? Like I see the tears in your eyes right now. Like
Yeah.
that's what this is, that's what it's all about. So
Yeah.
can you describe that feeling for you? Like, what is the feeling you get when the last girl leaves your workshop, you close the door and you just have like a moment with yourself? Like, what's going through your mind?
So I'm just feeling grateful for the opportunity of it. I feel just grateful to be able to catch these girls now, like starting at 5 years old, to just start planting these seeds, even if it's not something that they're going to, do every day. They will know that they can do it every day. And they have all these beautiful little crafts that they go home with. Like the mirror that they went with that they can look anew, and just watching these little girls pick these mirrors up and say I love you to themselves was just like,
I know that's one of my favorite parts too. And it's like so funny and fun at the beginning where they're like laughing at themselves.
yeah,
And then you're like, we're planting a seed here, like of self-love that they should
totally.
see every time they pass by a mirror. They should, show gratitude for themselves in that way. Like what's more beautiful than that? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm so with you. That's gorgeous. And what's it been like having your daughter along with you on this journey?
So that's really awesome because as of right now, it's been mostly like her group of friends. So that's a really cool thing to watch happen too, because it's her peers that have been doing this. And I just think even when they act silly, so that's what going back, they were like acting silly because they're friends, they're all girlfriends, and they love each other, they see each other all the time. But I thought, what a cool experience to have with your friends and to be able to talk about that. I just I, it's awesome. It's just awesome. I love that I was able to find you at that time when she was 3 because she wouldn't have really been able to come to the workshops with me had I started them at 3 because she just was too little. But again, divine timing, it comes along. She's now 6 and a little bit more mature and able to do this, which is just all, it just all falls into place. When you think things aren't, they always are. They're always working for the greater good.
Oh, I love that. What a
Yeah,
beautiful mindset to adopt. Things are always working for the greater good. I'm taking
totally.
that with me into this week. That's
Yeah,
beautiful. Really,
totally.
really beautiful. Now, there's this question that we ask everyone on the podcast that I'd love your take on.
Yeah.
Well, a girl's self-confidence, up until now, the statistic has been that a girl's self-confidence peaks at age 9. We've just learned that the statistic has sadly changed and that a girl's self-confidence peaks at age 8, which is insane
Mm,
to me and crazy. And it brings even more fuel into this mission of girls empowerment that you
yeah.
and I both have. But if you had the opportunity, what would you say to your 8-year-old self?
Well, to my 8-year-old self, I would say use your voice. I mean, due to like childhood experiences, my sister and I always joke about that we were sweepers when we were younger because we didn't share our feelings. We didn't feel like we could. But now I would say to her, use your voice. Like you can. It's okay to use your voice. And I always, I instill that in Willa, like speak up, speak up. Whatever you are feeling, it's okay to share. If there's an issue, you can tell me. I would just say to her, use your voice. Use
That's
your voice.
beautiful. That's so beautiful. I love that message. And like my 8-year-old self could have used that because like we're so often taught to act a certain way as girls and to be a good girl. And what does it mean to be a good girl? And like all of the different meanings that we attach to it and our
Yeah.
perception of what that means. And so often when we're told to be a good girl, we're actually told to like dim your shine, dull your voice, be seen and not heard, and all the stuff. And we internalize these messages into adulthood. So I love that you're saying that to your 8-year-old self. I love that you're saying it to your 6-year-old now daughter,
Yeah.
messages that you needed to hear because it's everything. It's really everything. And what do you see as like your vision? Like, what is your ultimate vision for GiRLiFE? What do you
So
want that to look like?
my ultimate vision for GiRLiFE. So this is going to go back to I wish I had these. So and I think in our facilitator group we talk about this a lot too. I feel very passionate about this whole messaging. But I thought all these messages as I'm going through these and I'm working through these workshops myself, and I was like, gosh, like we can still do these workshops as women. There's no reason why we can't. So my vision is right now, I meditated on it and I prayed on it and I needed to start with the girls first. But ultimately, I'm going to open these workshops up to women as well, which I feel just as passionate about and so excited about. And I'm going to invite the women that do sign up for the workshops to come as their 8-year-old self and
Yeah.
let go of what we know now as women, but just try and like work these workshops as if you were 8. And I feel
My goodness.
incredibly excited about that. So I hope to update you on those when those get started.
I cannot wait. And
Yeah.
there's such synchronicity because I just got off of a Zoom call with a woman who's joining our program who's literally signing up to run those inner girl workshops, like the inner child healing. So literally,
Yes,
like,
yes.
yeah, she's like, I just
I love it.
want every woman to bring that
Yes.
8-year-old girl along for the ride and let her
Yes.
get this so that she can then rise up and serve the girls in her community. So it's like all full circle. And I love that you're doing that. And I can't wait to
Mhm.
hear about how that works. I think it's an invitation that so many women will take you up on because once again, we didn't have this messaging growing up. And what a beautiful way to unlearn and relearn a more empowering way. So good. So good.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I guess one last question I have for you. If there's anyone who's considering whether it's becoming a GiRLiFE coach or iterating the next iteration or evolution of them, like whatever that may be for them, wanting to step into it, but being afraid, being nervous, wondering how it'll go. Like, do you
Mm.
have any words to share with that woman who's like on the brink of saying yes to herself?
Well, I would say if you can do it, do it. Don't let fear hold you back. As far as if you're worrying about if it's going to work out, I still don't know if it's going to work out. I just know in my heart and soul, it makes me feel, it brings tears to my eyes to talk about it, as you could see. So I know I feel so passionate about it. And I know it's such important work. And the more women that we can get to do this work, the better. I would encourage anyone that's feeling maybe a little bit on the fence about it to reach out to other facilitators. I'm sure Melanie would share someone with you that you can reach out to. And I know for myself, I would be happy to answer any questions that I can. So far, I'm just starting out in this journey too. But I'm excited for it. And I know, doors will keep opening. If you feel passion for it, go for it. You have to, that's, I think, the most important thing. I think the
I
most
love
important.
that. That's
Yeah.
such beautiful advice. It's following your bliss, following your joy. What lights you
Yeah.
up can never be wrong, right?
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Amazing. Well, I
Yeah.
thank you so much for being
I
here. You've
know.
shared so much with our audience. Love having you. If people want to connect with you, Annette, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can find me on Facebook at Love the You Girl Life Project / Newtown, Connecticut chapter, or you can find me at lovetheYouProject.com for the website.
Amazing. And I'm going to link that in the show notes so people can link up with you and connect with you and get more of your brilliance. I appreciate you so much. Love having you as part of our GiRLiFE community. And
Love
I
you.
cannot wait for your update on how this goes with the women. Love it.
Yeah. Thanks, Mel.
Thank you.